right, this is the brand new Flatyout Garage here in Cleveland, Ohio. We talked to Greg and his partners at the Piston Power Show just a few months ago, and tomorrow is the grand opening. They're going to be hosting the Cleveland DGR right here for their grand opening, but today they gave us an exclusive peek into the brand new garage. So let's head in and see what's going on. All right, so we made it inside, just inside the garage door. So what room is this, Greg?
This is where everyone works on their bikes.
Okay, and how many stations you got? This is a pretty decent size.
There's 20. The way they are, they're lined up all over the walls, and we've got a little bit of lounge in the center of it.
And so how does that work? Are these permanent stations here, or are these?
Yes, if you want to do a full tear down, if you want to do customize your bike, you want to frame up restoration, you get a bench and you get all the tools, you get the lift, and there's a little bit of storage underneath the bench for all your boxes and stuff,
So this is like the core. This is where the guys are coming to build their bikes and everything.
Yeah, but it's also got the lounge in the middle, kind of a hangout, like, man cave style,
So what are the hours? What are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, it's the members, private members. You got to be a member of the garage to be in here. So you kind of can come whenever you want. Tentatively, it's probably like, 10 to 10, something like that.
Okay.
But if you needed to come late, we had a lot of guys at the other garage where they're coming after second shift, third shift, they'd come different hours. So.
But you have a way, so you know who's coming in and out of the building, right?
Absolutely. So every member gets an actual card that scans you in. We know who's coming in, and if you...
Right, so that's awesome, because if you can think of a community garage, if you got 30 people in here and all of a sudden something goes missing on a Saturday, you could be like, all right, 2 a.m., Bob came in and all of a sudden the stuff's gone. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And plus, I mean, if you're paying to be here, I think the mutual respect from everybody's going to be right back to where it was anyways.
Yeah. And, the location, we've got some really good members, and I don't think we're going to have a problem with any of that stuff, but you never know.
Well, if a dude's sitting there and he's like, hey, I got this project, what kind of tools does my station get? Can you give a rundown on what each station has tool-wise?
Every station has basic tools like your open-end wrenches, all your sockets, screwdrivers, and pliers, every kind of basic tool that you need. There's some specialty tools on each bench, but more of the specialty tools are in the machine shop, and everyone has access to that. When Skidmark was closing, the first person I called was my wife. The second person I called was Nick. And Nick was the kind of driving force behind the whole let's open up a new location, let's do this, let's go. Because he had been at Skidmark a bunch of times, but he was never an official member. He just came hang out for all the events. He used a couple tools, helped us get the Vapor Blast cabinet going. And he called his buddy Rod, who was like, yeah, let's go in on this. So both of those guys are very instrumental in making this happen, It's all a group effort. I couldn't have done it without them.
How did you meet those guys?
I met Nick through on Facebook, and we don't live that far apart, but on Facebook there was a Z50 page that he was building some crazy Z50s, I was building crazy Z50s, and at one point we were literally going up against each other in these biker build-offs online, showing pictures, whatever. And he came in first, I came in second, but that's okay. I know my stuff was nice, and his stuff was nice. So we ended up literally going for rides all the time, and they said he came over to the garage. So we've just been hanging out for the last couple of years, just doing that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I'm really stoked about it. I was stoked about it, but now seeing it here in person this is good, man. This is really good.
It all came together. A lot of help from other members, and just long hours, and good people.
Let's talk about another room, and should we get Nick to talk about that one?
We can get Nick.
We're going to talk about this next room. So this is the main room. This is where if you're building a project, you're going to do a whole thing. You're spending 10 weeks building a bike. This is where you're going to do it. But they also have other facilities.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go talk to Nick about that. All right, so now we're here with Nick. Nick, where did you come from? How did this happen?
So I became friends with Greg, I think it was off a marketplace, looking for mini bike parts.
Yeah.
I went down to visit him at the old Skidmark. And first of all, Greg and I look like each other, which automatically I was like, wait a minute, this guy looks like me. And on top of that, we were both into mini bikes. I got stories about that. I used to get mistaken for Greg all the time. People ask me when my band's playing out, stuff like that. And I never knew who they were talking about until I met him.
So I heard there's a rumor that you guys were going head to head. In fact, he just mentioned it.
Oh, so Greg and I also entered the same competitions, which I won both of them by landslide against Greg, and we're still friends after that.
So, all right, so you guys are friends doing the mini bike thing.
Yeah.
Skidmark Garage closes. Greg calls his wife, and then he said he called you second.
Yes.
What happens here? What takes place?
So I think it was Monday. It was Monday morning, and Greg doesn't normally call me like in the middle of the day, or I'll get a text message. And I remember the phone call was like, "Dude, you're never gonna believe this." I'm like, "What? Like, what happened?" Like, he's like, "Skidmark's closing," and I don't know. If it was the same emotion for me as everybody else. It was like, "Oh no!" Like,
yeah.
So. Bit about myself, like I actually work best under pressure and when things are horrible. So to me and to Greg and everybody else, that was a horrible thing. Like it wasn't just the place, it was the community of people
100%.
that was now going to get displaced.
Even
beyond
beyond the building, and just as you guys are doing tomorrow for the official grand opening, it's a hub for the motorcycle community.
Yes, I have a feeling it'll work its way into the next home of everybody to stop in.
So all right, so behind the camera right now, there's stations, but they're set up for the event tomorrow, so they have like food tables and stuff. But generally, there's going to be lifts back there that are more of the transient lifts, correct?
Yes. So if you have our social membership already,
okay,
which you can pit stop in, fix some things, but then hey, you got a bigger job, you want to use it for the weekend from Friday to Sunday, you can rent out the other space and do like bigger jobs, like if you have changed head gaskets or something like that. Something that you know you're not going to be out in one day.
Okay, so this is like if you're a guy, you have an apartment, you have a bike, it's in the garage, and you just want to do a whole service one day. You want to change your oil, you want to go through the bike or something. That's what that's for. You can rent it for the day, a few hours, get it done. You're not messing up your garage floor, and then you're out.
If you need it for a whole day, you can reserve it for a day. You need it for 3 days, you can get it for 3 days.
Okay, that's awesome. So now we've been through 2 of the Musketeers. There's a third Musketeer in this situation.
Yes.
So who do we need to talk to next?
So this is Rod Wiggins, and Rod Wiggins and I grew up together. I think in 3rd grade, he was outside of my house doing endos off a curb, and I thought he was cool. And he lived across the park from me in Fairview Park, and we've been friends ever since then. I think maybe it was 5th or 6th grade.
So this is sounding kind of like a 3 Musketeers or a 3 Stooges situation, depending on how you look at it.
Depends on what day it is.
All right, so let's talk to this 3rd Musketeer. Where's he at?
All right, let me go get him.
All right. Okay, so we are behind the building now, this whole area here, with a skate park and a bridge and all this cool stuff, and we are with the 3rd Musketeer. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rod Wiggins.
And how did you get involved in this whole organization?
Well, it's I've known Nick since 6th grade. I think it's been about 40
That's what
years.
He said. You guys grew up
we
together.
were building all sort of things together growing up, rockets and mini bikes and that kind of stuff. So we've been teamed up for a long time. And then I met Greg through him.
Okay.
And Greg always talked about Skidmark. And finally had a chance to come down there, and it was just you walk in and you're like, this is my happy place.
Yeah.
And it was just right around that time that I found out. I finally discovered Skidmark, and then it's like a week or 2 later, it's going under.
So these guys convinced you, hey, we need to do another one.
Well, it wasn't quite that direct. I mean, it was sort of, hey, what's it going to take? Like, just talking to Brian, hearing his story, seeing the community support for it, and then to start to spin some wheels there and say, well, if we could carry this thing on, like, why not? If we could make, the funding available, buy everything out from Brian.
Right.
He was super helpful in making that happen. We went to the sort of announcement when he said he was going under.
Yep.
And then to see the support from all those folks and said, like, well, if we can just figure out a way to make the math work, just make this thing viable, and we can carry on for the community. We had to.
But you guys flipped it so quick. Like, I mean, like, this is the 3rd time talking about it, but what, 6 weeks from like a napkin to like an actual, and this is what amazes me, and I think I mentioned it before, but really, it's not like you guys are soft opening with a couple of boxes laying around and you're like, this is going to be great. No, you guys are like, like the physical location's pretty much set up in 6 weeks.
Yeah, we have members who've been here for a little while already getting work done.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Well, Nick's a maniac. That's the main thing is, I mean, he does these build outs. He built up bars that McCarthy's in Map Room and other stuff, and then at Stella, these big buildings. And so he just gets on a tear and just freaking...
Well, okay, so that's something that he didn't mention before. So you guys all have skills in the background that you're pulling into this. So like that alone probably is worth...
Oh, huge, because we need an electrician. He's got a guy like that he knows, hey, it's Nick, can you come do this thing?
That's now it's making a little more sense. Like you guys have the like between the three of you, you all have the connections to pull it together. That's why this thing happened like this. That's
I could get the finance and the LLC and the banking stuff done and the security cards and all of that sort of stuff. And then I was a mechanic for a lot of years professionally, and now just do it on the side. So comfortable around tools and that kind of stuff, and just always had a sense that making that available for folks to be able to work on their own things 100%. Have been always something that's bounced around in my head.
That alone, that's how you support the community and this, like, because that gives a guy that, oh man, I'm living downtown. I got to live in Cleveland for 4 years. I'm a motorcyclist, but I'm living in a 6th floor apartment down here.
Right.
The company's providing it.
Yeah.
Now you can have your bike, man.
Yeah.
And keep it here. That's awesome.
And you can work on it too, because so we'll have the bays here for people coming in doing an oil change or valve adjustment and stuff. But in those condos, God forbid you ever did your own oil change or something, there would be.
Or if your bike leaks a drop.
You'll be executed. And then so we want to have that available here so folks can fiddle with it when they want to, or just come and use it and go.
Okay. I can just tell all three of you guys are coming from the right place with this, and that's important. And I think people can see that, and that's why you're getting the support that you're getting.
And it helps that we have day jobs, so that doesn't have to. We're not trying to make $1 million here. We're just trying to make it.
You're not squeezing
affordable.
the nickel trying to get the bills paid.
Right. So we can, as long as it sustains itself, then we're golden.
Awesome. Well, I wish you guys much luck.
Thanks, man.
We'll see you tomorrow for the grand opening.
And thanks everybody for the support. It's been fantastic.
All right, and so opens another chapter here in the Cleveland motorcycle scene. Huge shout out to these guys for taking this on. Anytime a motorcycle scene has a home base, it becomes a really cool motorcycle scene. And that's what Skidmark Garage did for the Cleveland motorcycle scene, so this is so awesome that it's going to continue on here at Flatyout Garage. So if you're in the area, make sure you stop by. Try to participate if you can, because these places only exist if people utilize them. So get out to your local scenes, get out and do things, get out to your local restaurants, your local garages, make shit happen. All right, nothing was dumb, everything worked. So we'll see you on the next one, and hopefully we'll see you here sometime soon.